Good morning, and welcome to the fourth class. This one is about fast and healthy dinners that you can cook. Today, we are gonna cook a one-pot meal that is quick and easy. You're busy, you're coming home from work, you probably got off at 5:30, you didn't take anything out to cook from the night before, you've picked up kids from soccer, football, cheer, basketball, whatever, and you need to cook something healthy and that's gonna taste good for everybody. So what we've got is a one-pot meal, and it involves Italian sausage, kale, Brussels sprouts, onions, and garlic. Simple. One pot, you've got your protein, you've got your green leafy vegetables. If you want to add a side of rice or couscous or quinoa or orzo pasta or some bow tie pasta or even penne pasta to mix in with it, you can do that. However, today we're just gonna focus on the one pot meal, and I've got here some mild Italian chicken sausage. I've got some already chopped kale, and we've got some Brussels sprouts that we've got to cut up. We've got onions, we've got garlic, we've got some balsamic glaze, and we've got some Worcestershire sauce, and we've got some grapeseed cooking oil. I also have a little bit of cilantro. I do like to put fresh herbs inside with my meals that I'm cooking. There's just something about the fresh herbs that really work better for me. So with that said, we are gonna get started. I've got my pot here. So we are gonna start with, let me put on my gloves. We are gonna start with the chicken sausage, and we're just gonna cut it up and we're gonna brown it. Now this particular pan has two parts. It's got a steamer section and it's got the regular pan section, so we're not using the steamer section right now. So we're gonna put that there. And we are going to spray coat our pan a little bit with, I've got grapeseed oil. It's a spray. You can use regular oil or you can use the spray, either one. I use a little bit of both. It all depends on, what's a little bit more convenient. And so I'm gonna spray this pot. All right. And we are going to open our sausage. I'm gonna go ahead and turn the pot on. I'm gonna cut my sausage. And this is a mild Italian chicken sausage. You can use regular mild Italian sausage. You can use hot sausage, whichever one you like or prefer. If you know it's just for you and you want something a little bit more spicy, you can go right ahead and do that. Or if you're cooking for your family and you don't want it to have so much heat, then you can use a mild Italian sausage. I'm just gonna cut these in small little rounds, around about that big, that thick, that big. I got 4 pieces of sausage here, so I'm gonna cut all 4. Some pieces might come out a little bit bigger, some might come out a little smaller. Doesn't matter, it's all good. And like I said, you can use any type of sausage, Italian sausage, you can use Polish kielbasa, you can use smoked sausage, you can use turkey sausage, you can use an all beef smoked sausage, whatever you choose. You can even experiment a little bit with it and use the mild or spicy Italian sausage that's like ground beef or ground pork. You can use that as well. smell the basil and everything in these sausages already. All right, so here's my sausage chopped. I'm gonna put that in there. Oops, one got away. We are going to cook these until they're nice and brown. I've got it on medium heat. We've got the meat, the sausage browning. Another thing that you can add to this, just to give it a little bit more flavor and texture, is turkey bacon. I did not pick any of that up today. Actually couldn't find any. But you want all of the pieces to have like that little browning coating on them, you know, to show that they're browning and they're all cooking. So we're gonna let that sit for a little bit. We're gonna cover it. And you can also substitute the kale for a cabbage or a head of cabbage. So what we're gonna do right now is we are going to cut our Brussels sprouts in half, because we're gonna use Brussels sprouts with this recipe. And you don't want the Brussels sprouts whole. And these are microwavable in a bag, so they don't need to be washed. Because when they come in the bag that's microwavable, they're already clean. Because you can just pop the bag in the microwave and clean them. And cook them, sorry. So these have already been washed and they're ready to cook. Like I said, it's a microwavable bag. But for our purposes, we are going to take them out and we're gonna cut them in half and we're gonna put them in with our kale, okay? Which has been washed, it's pre-washed as well, thoroughly washed. So for the Brussels sprouts, I like to cut off this little nub here, just my preference. I'll probably use a smaller knife. And then we're gonna cut them in half. Like any nubs that are protruding out, I like to cut those off. It's just my preference. You can experiment and cut them like in threes, or you can just cut them in half, either one. All depends on what you like. When you cook, it's supposed to be to your liking. It's supposed to be enjoyable. It's supposed to be cooking and eating for nutrition, but you're also supposed to enjoy what you're cooking. Who wants to eat something that doesn't taste good, that they don't enjoy? Not me. I love a good flavorful entree. The more flavor, the better. And that's why I like to cook with fresh herbs and vegetables. So herbs and spices, anything that's fresh instead of processed is definitely for me. You get more of the nutritional value and the nutrient content from them than you do when it's processed. So for this recipe, we've got one package of, it's chicken Italian sausage, one package of Brussels sprouts, we'll probably fit half of that package of kale in there. The kale will cook down, so we might end up adding a little bit more as we go on, because just like spinach, when you cook kale, it cooks down. So we'll see. So we've got one package of chopped Brussels sprouts. As you're cut in half, as you can see, they've been cut in half. Then we've got our package of kale that has already been washed. It's washed, you can wash it, but on the package it says thoroughly washed, keep refrigerated. I like easy, quick. These are supposed to be easy, quick recipes. Got that there. We're gonna check our sausage again. Oh, it's coming along real nice. Sausages are really browning, so now I'm going to flip them over on the other side and let them brown on the other side before I take them out. This recipe, we're not really going to use a whole bunch of salt and pepper and all that kind of stuff. We're going to use fresh herbs and spices. So I've got some garlic here and some shallots and some onion. So what we're going to do is we are going to cut the onion. We're going to prep all of that stuff while this is cooking. They say, that knife isn't really working all that great, so I'm going to go to my trusty knife here. They say, when you're cutting an onion, be sure to not cut off the nub at the bottom, this part. You cut that part off, that's what makes you cry. So we're not going to cut that part off. We're going to peel back some of the layers. Okay, as we're cutting this onion, I've peeled it back a little bit, not too much. We're gonna cut it in just like rings. If you have a slicer, you can definitely go in and just slice it out and have even uniform rings, but uniformity is not an issue right now. We just want the yellow onion. Let me try my other knife, see if it's user error. User error. There we go. And then we're gonna take that onion and we're gonna cut it in half. So we're just gonna take it and we're just gonna cut it in half. We don't need to dice it, we're just cutting it in half. So now we've got just some nice slices, see, like that, like that. We'll put that aside. We need a plate because our sausage is just about done. Oh, definitely. So we'll transfer the sausage onto a plate or a bowl. See how it's got a nice little golden crisp on it? Set this to the side. You can spray your pan again with your grapeseed oil, or you can use, we were using at the last couple cooking sessions, the plant butter. This one is avocado oil, Country Crock plant butter. We were using that, so I'm gonna spray this just a little bit. And while I've got my onions going in there, I'm gonna chop up my garlic and my shallots. Throw my onions in there. Let those cook down. While those are cooking down, I'm gonna add in my garlic. I like to use the bigger cloves. They're easier to chop up and cut. Not that the small cloves don't have any value, they're just easier to handle. Cut off that little base there, and it peels really quickly. We're gonna cut this one just a little bit. That in there. Let's find another big piece. Here's one. All right. We're gonna cut that. And then throw it in there. We're gonna stir this around. I'm gonna add a little bit more, spray it a little bit more with the grapeseed oil. We wanna get a nice even glaze on it. Which is coming out really nice. It's getting golden. You can see the golden color there. All right, we're gonna add in our Brussels sprouts. If you have a bigger pan, you'll use the whole container. But since my pot is kind of small, I'm only using half. I've got onions, I've got garlic in there. At this point, you can use a little bit of salt and pepper if you choose to. We're gonna let that cook for a little bit. We wanna coat all of that with our oil. We're gonna cover it, let that cook for a little bit. Clean up my little mess right here. This is our chicken that we're gonna add in. I can probably add a little bit of shallots. Shallots give it a nice flavor. We talked about the difference between a shallot and an onion last time. The shallot is a little bit purple instead of yellow like the onion when you peel it back, when you peel those layers back. And it gives good flavor. Cut that in half as well. Just got some little rings, not a lot, just enough for some flavor. Like I said, the more fresh herbs and vegetables, herbs and spices that you use, the better. Clean up my little mess right here. Our chicken that we're gonna add in. I can probably add a little bit of shallots. Shallots give it a nice flavor. We talked about the difference between a shallot and an onion last time. The shallot is a little bit purple instead of yellow like the onion when you peel it back, when you peel those layers back. And it gives good flavor. Gonna cut that in half as well. Just got some little rings, not a lot, just enough for some flavor. Like I said, the more fresh herbs and vegetables, herbs and spices that you use, the better. All right. We are going to now add our kale or cabbage, whichever one. Just handfuls at a time. And like I said, the kale is going to cook down, so kind of want to let it do its thing. That one dropped over the bridge. Oh, it's all falling out. They're like, no, no, no. I'm going to spray it with a little bit of our oil. Put a few more pieces in there for the ones that kind of fell out. And I'm going to turn this so that the onions and the Brussels sprouts are underneath, or that are underneath, can come on top and mix that in. Okay? And like I said, when you're cooking with a bigger pot, it's going to be a lot easier. But this is definitely a one-pot meal. All right. We are going to add in our Worcestershire sauce. Just a little bit, not a whole lot. The kale is starting to cook down. gonna add just a, see the kale is wilting, I'm gonna add just a little bit more kale. I want it to at least be proportionate. If only we had smell-o-vision. You could smell what's going on in here, right? All right, so that's cooking down. Now I'm going to add our balsamic glaze. Make sure there's no seal on here. I don't think there is. No, it's free spinning, so there's none. All right. We're gonna add our balsamic glaze. We're just drizzling it on there. We're gonna add in our sausage. You want all of that in there. And we're gonna stir it up. Our Brussels sprouts are getting nice and seared. Our kale isn't wilted to the point where it's too soft. There's still a little crunch to it. I've kept the fire on medium this whole time. Our onions are nice and caramelized. It's looking good, it's smelling good. Show you that. There we go. Nice and colorful. I'm gonna add just a little bit more balsamic glaze to it. Just a little drizzle. We don't need any more Worcestershire sauce. If you want, you can add a little bit of cilantro. This again is the fresh herbs that I was talking about to give it that flavor. You just take a little bit and just add it in, chop it up. The cilantro is definitely optional. If you know your family doesn't particularly like that, you don't have to add it. I'm gonna go ahead and turn my pot off. I turned it on high by accident. All right, and there you have it. You get a plate. You have a one pot quick meal. And like I said, if you want to cook some pasta, you can add some pasta to it, or cook pasta and put it on the side. Go. Smells great. So thank you for coming out to the 4th cooking class. This was Quick and Easy Meals. I will be uploading this video to YouTube and adding some other recipes with it. I'll email them out. So if you've been following along with this series, we are gonna take a break after this week. We won't have any more cooking classes. for the next couple weeks, but we will get back in the swing of things. And I just want you to know, if you have any questions or concerns about any of the recipes that we've done on these different workshop series, please email me at wellness@marionfl.org, and I can definitely get you all of the information that you need. So thank you, and bye.